Hello everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Kerbal Space Program, and here we are, just about touching Jool. Where are we? There's Jool right over there. So last episode we got ourselves all the way out here, and we have just a bit of corrections to do just to fix up this orbit here, because we are kind of skewing it that way. But not only that, we're also going around it the wrong direction. So what we're just going to do here is place a maneuver node to just try to get this thing a little more smart, basically. And first I might just adjust the inclination so that we're not quite as bended south like we were before. I think we'll do something like that, which is a bit far. I just might try to move this thing in if it'll let me. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, God. This thing is so finicky. It's crazy sometimes. I don't really understand why it does this, but pain in the butt, that's what it is. Oh. Oh my God. Come on. Get over here. You will get over here. That's the last thing I do. Ah, there we are. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna put that so that we are fairly across the ecliptic line there. Ecliptic plane. Just something like that. That's close. That's definitely close. So we'll just go ahead and try to make that maneuver. The node is in 3 days, so I might just try to get up there a little bit, just so it doesn't mess anything up, because that's where it expects me to be. Alright, just a simple little burn. And that pretty much does it for us. There, we're a little straighter now. Maybe just a little further. Kind of just want to get it straight across. That looks pretty good. Alright, next order of business will be to try to place another maneuver node. There we go. So now we want it to just go this way until we swing around. And we want to get on basically this side of things. It's very easy to get encounters with the other moons when we do it like this, which we want to kind of avoid that sort of thing altogether. We want to try to get in as close here as we can without any sort of encounter, but it looks like that's just going to happen. Let's see. So I'm going to do this first, and then we can adjust it a little bit more as we get in there a little closer. Just because I want to make sure we're going around the proper way here. And we want to always be kind of going counterclockwise around these planets, just because it makes for better encounters. So we're just pushing ourselves to the right, which is going to move us over just enough to where we can start going this way. Lots of encounters. It's very, very easy to get Jool encounters. Not Jool encounters, you know what I mean, like other moon encounters here. Just because there's so many of them, and they're very big moons, and they're always just kind of in the way. Alright. That's good enough for right there. Let's see, now we want to kind of try to get this periapsis into the planet, pretty far into it, without getting an encounter. That's going to be the tricky thing. So we get this Tylo encounter. Stupid Tylo's in the way. It's precisely where we don't want it to be, but let's just take a look. Looks like if we get that Tylo encounter, it's going to just really mess things up for us. It's going to swing us up that way, and I really don't want that to happen. But unfortunately, yeah, it looks like it's just, it's really stubborn. It just wants us to be, it just wants to be in the way. Which is a little annoying. I wonder if we wait. Of course, yep. Let's see, if we wait a little further, maybe it won't mess things up. Nope, it still does. Really messes things up bad for us. I would say, hell, let's just go with it, but it looks like it is like skewing us upwards. Yeah, see how the green line just goes up like that, basically meaning Tylo is going to screw with our orbit. Let's see if we can like kind of... There's really nothing we can do is really saving this. This is kind of annoying. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I've basically placed a maneuver node here, and because Tylo is kind of sling us upwards, I've basically messed around with these pink toggles just to like preemptively correct what we're going to do with it. So we're going to hit it kind of north, but because of the corrections I made, we're kind of pulling sideways like that. Hopefully the green line shouldn't go too far up, and we've also brought the Jool periapsis down to about 200,000, which we will further need to correct. But let's just do this now, once we get basically closer to that node, which I have no idea where it's going to be. It's one of those times where the maneuver node, I'm just at the mercy of it. Here it is. Right over there, and let's move up. That node is in 9 days. So we're just going to get up to there. We're going to have to just use the Tylo Perry. We're going to have to just use the Tylo encounter for our benefit. We're going to have to try to do our best with it. It's annoying, but, you know, just do our best. There. So that brings our Jool encounter into 209, which again is not perfect, but we're going to have to correct a little further, but that's alright. So let's just go ahead and warp forward and see what happens here. There's Jool, you can see it over there. We're at 10,000 warp, but we're so far away from it that it's not really affecting many things. We'll have to move it up just a little bit further. There's all the moons, you can kind of see them swinging around. Yeah, you can just barely see the little twinkling moons circling around. Those are the inner 3 moons. The outer 2 are just kind of off doing their own thing. They're kind of like the awkward. Alright, so here comes Tylo. We're going to get a slingshot from Tylo, which is going to hopefully slingshot us just the right way. See, the purple orbit here is what we're looking at. It's like the post-Tylo encounter orbit. It's going to hopefully sling us around like this to this 207 periapsis. And like I said, once we get out of that encounter right around here, we hopefully will be able to also move the Jool periapsis in to do an aerobrake capture. Now this normally wouldn't be so darn complicated, but because Tylo is being stupid and being right in our way, precisely where we don't want him to be, it's causing some extra issues. But let's see if we can just go with it. We're going to get a little gravity assist from Tylo. Here he comes. It's going to be right in the wrong spot. Here it comes. Might just do some screenshots because that does look pretty cool. It's a very beautiful little system here. It's just sometimes these moons just get in your way. There's really nothing you can do about it. Any second now, yeah, we'll be in the encounter. There it is. So this is what it's doing to us. It's pulling us overhead. And you know what? Actually, this is pretty good because I can use this to get some science. High over Tylo. Hell, let's use it. I mean, why let it go to waste? We'll observe the mystery goo. We have an extra set for this kind of scenario, actually, so that's actually not too bad. 250 from Tylo, high over Tylo. Let's get some guy out here on the EVA. How cool. High over Tylo. So that you know, that worked out in our favor. We got some extra science for that, even though it's gonna kind of mess things up for us. But like I said, it's all is not lost. We will still be able to fix this mess here, basically. So we'll just fly overhead. Gravity is tugging on us, pulling us downwards. You can see it. It's trying to like affect our orbit a little bit, something like that. Flying right overhead. It's such a heavy moon that it is actually affecting us. It's definitely changing our orbit a little bit. Now, if we did that over like one of these smaller outer moons, it probably wouldn't do anything at all. But alright, we're coming out of the Tylo encounter. We have our Jool thing again. Which reminds me, let's do the Jool science. Here we go. Crew report over Jool. I love how this thing just kind of opens up like that. It's cool. Alright. Let's do a Jool goo. High over Jool. Let's do a high over Jool science bay. 175. It's interesting how the data from the moon got us more science than the data from Jool itself. I think that's how that worked. And there's Lathe over there. How nice. And let's go ahead and get Dudney. The dude. The dude's going to do some EVA. 56 science. Pretty cool. Alright. So what we need to do now is try to fix this again. It looks like we are going down and around it. I'm not sure how much correcting we can actually do. Actually, wow, so all these maneuvers, now that we're so close, are now starting to basically cost a little more. We want to do the best we can. Try to come right across that equator, and hopefully we won't go too far up like that. Actually, let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, we don't want it. We don't want the original one. None of these really seem like perfect options, to be honest with you. They all seem like they're not really helping a whole lot, but we have to do them. This looked a little better over here, actually. Maybe. No. A lot of this stuff is kind of guess and check if you're new. Like, you know, I'm kind of new. Like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Rather, I kind of know what I'm doing, I just don't know why I'm doing it. That's you know, how that goes. But we'll try something like that. Wow, it's going to be 178 meters per second. There we are. So since we're so close, basically any of these maneuvers is just taking a little extra time. A little extra time and effort. Might stop it right there. Yeah, we'll keep that, okay? And now, finally, we can get this thing into an air capture maneuver. Now, it says the atmosphere of Jool starts around 200,000 meters, but that's not true. It actually really starts at around 138,000. So I figure if we'll go like 120, maybe. I'll just kind of use that as a guide. I won't actually do that maneuver. Flip this thing around. Point inwards. Yes. There we go. And this will basically sink our periapsis a little further. So I'm thinking like maybe 120 will be a good enough aerobrake maneuver. Hopefully. Hopefully is the question there. So now we'll just do it there, and we'll just RCS the rest of the way in. 120. Okay, that's us. So all we gotta do is basically wait till we're around the other side. Get rid of that maneuver node, and let's just take a look. 120, yes. Now this still may skew us in a weird kind of orbit around Jool, which unfortunately means that the little probes that we send out will just do a little, have to do a little extra work to correct inclination, but I don't think it'll be excuse me, I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. Then again, I always say that, so let's just see what happens. Warp a little further in here. See the other moons flying around. Look at the gas spinning around different directions. That's so cool. That just looks so nice. Very, very nice. Alright. So we are coming in for our air brake maneuver, which is a bit it's a bit dangerous over Jool because the atmosphere is just so thick with clouds that it's just very, like, a lot of bad stuff could happen potentially. If you guys ever saw the movie 2010, the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, they do a similar maneuver around Jupiter. They have to aerobrake around Jupiter, and as they're doing it, everyone's panicking because it's so dangerous, and they're holding on tight as the ship like rockets through the atmosphere of Jupiter. Oh boy. Alright, so I'm gonna not forget to pull these solar panels in. That could be a disaster. And I'll wait until I know we're in a pretty stable orbit before I do any of these science modules. Let's get her done. I might open the surface tab, just because it'll show us atmospheric stats. This is terrifying. This is basically terrifying. Oh my goodness. So there we are in 138 as predicted. We are in the atmosphere. Right now it's giving us 80 kilonewtons of drag. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. We are coming in here at 8.6 kilometers per second. That is so stupidly fast. Picking up drag, now we're at 110 kilonewtons. Atmospheric pressure is about 8 pascals. I think that's pascals. Density is 40 milligrams per meter cubed. So there we go. The orbit's going to start bending around now until we escape. Hopefully we do escape. Very, very dangerous maneuver here. Of course, they're all happy. They're all loving it. Let's see. Wow. View from inside the spacecraft. That's cool. Okay, we're just about at the periapsis. This is still bending around. Again, hoping that we got this right, because if we don't, we'll be screwed. Ooh, look at this Val parry. We got a little Val encounter here. There we go. What I'm going to try to do is get a circular orbit basically inside of Lade's orbit. I don't want to go any further out because I'm afraid that I'm going to get encounters with these other moons if I do that. So we are finally on the way out now. Now this is what you call atmospheric soup. So we're now experiencing 320 kilonewtons of drag. We're basically decelerating at a half G. Atmospheric pressure 23 kilopascals. No, just regular pascals. And I'm almost wondering if this is going to be enough drag. Kind of hoping it is. It's coming down now. Almost feel like I should turn the spacecraft. Maybe start burning backwards. Still getting that vol encounter. I really hate to burn any fuel. So actually, honestly, it looks like we could have done that a little bit better. Could have probably gotten in there a little bit better. Didn't quite kill as much of the velocity that I wanted. And we're still going to get this annoying vol encounter, which is just going to do bad things for us. So, I think what we'll do is we'll consider that... Oh, finally the vol goes away. I'll consider that a computer simulation in which the Kerbals ran and they decided that it wasn't good enough. So let's go back and see if we can get that a little bit better. Alright, so here we are, and I've just adjusted the periapsis again down to 112, which is quite a little bit further than we were before, about 5, 6, 7, something like that, 7,000 meters high, or lower rather. So let's see what we can do here. And we're just about in the atmosphere. Good. So I might just pump it up to 4 times. There we go. Just to really get things going here. Again, I'm kind of hoping that the orbit kind of comes inside of Lathes' orbit. I don't want it to crisscross any of these other orbits, as you can see, because that starts happening. And if we do leave it out there like that, I foresee problems with time warping, because I might not be paying attention and get an encounter and just time warp the ship right out of the system, and that's something I just don't want to do. So we're already on the way out here. Let's just see how far in this comes. Hopefully not too far. I don't want it like here. That would be pretty bad. So we are slowing down. That actually might have been perfect. Yeah, it's pretty darn good. I might keep that. Yep. So we are, of course, inclined. Let's see. How far, how bad are we inclined? About 6 degrees off from the ecliptic. Not bad, all things considered. We can always fix that when we're trying to get home, which is what we will do. Let's see. For now, though, let's go ahead and get that science from close. Crew report from near Jool. We get 35 from that. Send that back to Kerb and at the speed of light. Mystery goo observation near Jool. 70 science. And finally, Science Junior Materials Bay here. Near Jool. 175 science from that. Let's go ahead and see if we could do a couple of these things. Can we log seismic data? Nope. We can't do the barometer either. How about gravity? The sensor calibrates to measure the massive gravitational forces of Jool. We get 140 from that. Let's try a temperature scan. Log the temperature. 56 science from that. Toggle display. It's negative 250 Celsius over here. I thought it would be probably a little bit warmer than that, but that's alright. Let's press 1. Get our solar panels back out, and let's get Gerten out here on an EVA. Just because that would look so cool. And we got that good science. 56 science here from space near Jool. Alright. So the only thing we got to do now... Stop it. I don't want Lathe as a target. The only thing we got to do now is just make sure that this basically boosts out a little further. Oh, 600 meters per second. That is a lot. Decisions. Everything kind of costs a lot of fuel around Jool. might go for it. Try to get that thing out of the soup like that. And warp over there. And we'll just get that periapsis out of the soupy Jool. Soupy Jool. It's gonna take about, if I had to guess, 4 minutes, something like that. It's quite a burn because we're so close to the gas giant that everything just kind of takes a long time. That is something that I miss about the little tiny planets we visited. They don't take nearly as much fuel to make these correction burns, but it's only going to take 2.5 minutes, so we'll burn it 1 minute and 15 seconds. Which is right now. Just trying to push ourselves away from Jool now and into a sort of circular orbit. The more circular, the better. We're going to be 6,000 by 16,000, something like that. Just so that when we release those probes, we want them to kind of be in a relatively circular orbit, just so it's easier to hit the other moons when we finally decide to do that. Fuel is getting down there now, but I think we'll be alright. As long as we leave like 2,000 meters per second left in the tanks, I think we'll be okay. It's about how much you need to get home. So I feel like the grav assist from Jool is probably massive, which is, you know, pretty nice. There we go. Stop it right there. Alright, that's us. We got our stable orbit around Jool, which I think completes something. We successfully explored Jool for, wow, 394,000 Kerbal credits and a lot of whatever you call it, reputation. Got the orbit around Jool and transmitted science around Jool. So that is exciting. We've got one contract down. We just got to do the 2 moons. And next episode we will launch these 2 probes and we will get them on their merry way to these other moons out here. So thanks for watching, everybody.